Hi, I'm Sam. Welcome to my Dreamweaver tutorials, and here we're going to look at how to create templates. So to start with, creating templates are very easy, and usually you would want to create templates because you want your pages to look very consistent. You may make adjustments to them a little bit, but largely you want things like, say, your navigation, your buttons, or your navigation buttons, you want them to stay consistent. So you normally would want to create a template after you have defined your styles and input everything that you need to. Here I don't have my sublinks here, but I have taken care of this in another tutorial. So you may want to look at how to create the CSS rollovers that you have in this section. I took care of it in another tutorial. But if you were to create your template, you probably would want to finish all of this with your CSS based layout if you intend them to be on every page, right? So let's assume that we have everything done and we want to convert this page into a template. To be able to do so in Dreamweaver, we're going to go to File, and we're going to go down somewhere here, Save as Template. When you create Save as Template, it's going to ask you the name that you're going to, or the site in which you are working in. And if you recall, we created a site called Cars, and that's where we have it. Realize that all the other projects I have in my on my computer working in Dreamweaver, they are also showing here, but we are working in the Cars, and there is no template at the moment, so we can give it a description. So let's say car site, or whatever description that you may have for it. So car site for my Dreamweaver class. Okay. Dreamweaver class, whatever it is, you just give it a short description. And here, because we may want to save it as a template, you can keep the name, or you can change the name to something else. I think I have something with the word temp already, so I wouldn't want to I'll leave it as index, and I'll click on save. So with this, it says update links. This is something you want to say yes. If you don't update, your images will not be working. You want to say yes, and so a page is saved. When you look up here, it now indicates index.dwt, and when you look at the top here, it also tells you template index.dwt. Index.dwt means Dreamweaver template. Okay, so now this is a template, but before we get other pages of this, we have to be able to do something about this page, else we can't use them for the other pages. So what we're going to look at is basically look at your content. All right, let's say on my pages, the logo is going to stay the same, the image banner is going to stay the same. If you know it's not going to stay the same, then you want to make it what you call an editable region. We'll be creating some very soon. I know my buttons are going to stay the same. Okay, so we want to keep things that are going to be on the page. If I know for each page I'm going to change these images, then I would want to make these editable regions as well. For now, let's concern ourselves just a little bit about the content that's here. So because I know for every page I'm going to have this heading, I'll select that heading, and I'm going to go up here. You would find at the top here a few buttons on the right side. Okay, and I'm going to go, and wherever it says template, I'll click here, and I'm going to select editable region. Editable means that that's a place you want to be able to edit. Areas that you don't make editable will not be editable. You can't make changes to them if you go to other pages. So we're looking at considering the whole page. This is a page where we're going to, if we want to make changes for, let's say, the About Us page, we will change the text here. We'll change, let's say, the image. We'll change the text on this, the whole of this page. So I'm going to select this, and I'll choose editable region, and the name comes up. When I go in here, I'll go and say page title. And here, whether you type uppercase or lowercase doesn't really matter. All this is just going to show on the page. And sometimes when these labels show on the page, they sort of distort your page a little bit. Don't worry so much about it. If you know your page is going to follow a particular format, like have H2s here, 2 H2s or whatever, then you can select them and create that. Otherwise, I'm going to go for all of this text here. Okay, and so of all of the content, we could have even selected all of this within here, but I just wanted to show you can break them down. So with this, and I'm going to go and create another editable region because I have that clicked already. I can click on this and I'll call this, let's say, page content. All right, say page content, and I'm going to click on OK. So now I have this editable region. If I know I'm going to make some changes and adjustments here, I'll have to select whatever it is and to make them. This is going to stay the same on every page. Let's say I'm not going to create for all of this, but let's say I intend to make changes to this. I'll select just that and I'll go and make it an editable region. So let's say I'll say car 1, or you can call it pics 1, pics 2, just to conform with the names that we gave to them earlier on. All right, so I'll click on OK, and now I would want to save it. Realize that with an asterisk, that indicates that the page is not saved and we want to save it. So Command S to save, and it gives you a message about the page title. This is because this is an H1, that's why it's giving me that message in there. But don't worry, we want to say OK. If you don't want to see it again, just say don't show again, and it will never come again. So with this is not a page that we want to preview, it's a template. So I'm going to close it. Okay, I have closed that, but we want to create, let's say, the About Us page, and we want to create the gallery page and the links page and the contacts page. So we want to make copies of these. So we go to the files page, and I'm going to go and make or create a new page. There are a few places where we can do that, but I think the assets panel is much easier and probably much faster. So in the assets panel, I mentioned to you in earlier tutorials that there are a set of buttons down here, and when you look down here it says templates. When you click on this, this is supposed to show me all templates on the page. Currently I don't see anything. All right, so but I know I created a template, so I'm going to click on the refresh button, and when I do, the index template which I created is now showing. To create a new page of that template, I'll right click on this and I'm going to choose new from template. If you say new template, then you're going to create another template. But if you say new from template, then you're creating off that template. Okay, so we're going to create off that template, and when you look here, immediately the file is created, and you see almost exactly as we saw in the earlier file. Now, before you go ahead to do anything at all, we want to save this. So I'm going to go File. Okay, this is probably one of the few places where I go to File and Save As. So File, Save As. And it's going to open up. We are in our project. Okay, just make sure you are there. We want to call this about underscore us. Okay, so I'm using about underscore us.html, and this time I want to save it in my HTML folder. I don't have it now, so I can create a new one from here. If you created it earlier on, then you would have it and have it selected. So I'll call HTMLs. Okay, and I'll create. So with the HTMLs folder, about us.html, we want to save this into that file. So I'll click on save, and now that file is saved. But this page is not home page, this is about us page. So we will change the heading here to about us. All right, and then if we have content for about us, you're going to change them down here as well. So I'll go into my files panel, and I have the content, okay, which is a text document. Should be down somewhere here. All right, and I'm going to, I have actually just typed some content in these. I'm going to go to the About Us section, copy the About Us content, Command C to copy, and I'll go onto my page and replace the text in here. Okay, let me just make sure I selected the right thing. I'm going to select again. Well, doesn't really matter much. Command V, and maybe I don't need this image here again, so in that case I'll have to delete it. I think I have an image of a lady, so I'll go to images, and I called her Joyce. Okay, so I want to replace, maybe this time I want to replace that image, so I'll click on insert and click on OK. So place that there. Remember, the ID name we gave to the other image was, we gave it an ID name of CEO. We can call this CEO1, so we will select that, and ID name we call it CEO. Okay, CEO1. right? And then we actually had to float this text, this image like we did. So we're going to go to our style sheet, and we don't see it says styles. We'll twirl this down, all right, but we're going to click on add new CSS rule, and we just want to type hash CEO1, all right, and we're going to define styles. All we want to do for it is to go to box, and we want to float to the left. When you float to the left, you have the text now sit on the left, and we want to also come to the padding, or in this case we want to use margin, and only right margin of 20 pixels. Okay, or we could have duplicated the styles for CEO1, and that would do the same job for us. All right, so we click on apply, and I think we're looking good, and I'll click on OK. The only thing here is this text is supposed to have replaced this, so we'll delete that from there, and we'll shift this, we'll backspace. Also here, this doesn't look to me like it's a paragraph, but we want a paragraph. Okay, we will not need a paragraph in there for staff members, so this is going to be, say, an H1. All right, you may backspace up to this point and then just press return, and we're going to make this an H2. So when we go down here and we make this an H2, you will realize that it changes almost immediately because we have already defined styles for the content area. I would go to news and also backspace until I get to that point and press return, and go and click there, make it an H2. Okay, and that also changes almost immediately. So with this, I'm going to create one more page so you can see what we are doing. But before you actually make changes to the template that you create, you would normally want to save it first, and that was what we did. Okay, now watch, when I roll over this section, I can't change the image, I can't touch this one. Okay, we did not make this text, this area, editable region, so we cannot make changes to it. We can't select any of these because we did not make them editable. Editable means to be able to edit. And when we go here, realize that we made this an editable region, so we are able to make changes to it. Now let's preview this page in a browser, and I'm going to go and preview in Safari, save, and now we have a new page about us with our content in there. We can format it as much as we want. This problem we have not fixed, we will fix a bit later in another tutorial. Let me go ahead and create a new page so we see just for one more time. I'm going to go to the assets panel. That's where I created a page. The next page we're going to create is the gallery, or maybe the links, whichever one. I'm going to go down into my assets, click on the templates, all right, and right click on the new, that's a template, and you want to choose new from template. So you go here and you have that page. Before you change, let's say, images and anything at all, you want to make sure you save the page. So I'll go file, save as, and for the gallery might be a little different. So here I'm going to save the links page. So I'm going to type this and call this links, and I'm going to click on save. Okay, so links.html. Now, having saved the file, I want to change the name, links page. Okay, and I'll go into my text document, which is in my files panel. I'll double click here, and I have some links down in here. I'll copy all of this stuff. Okay, we'll be making links to a number of sites. I'll copy all of this, Command C, and I'll paste them into this space, Command V. Okay, so we paste our links in here. This is rather a very tall page. Maybe this time we don't need an image, so we'll get rid of that so that we have these links up there. And so that's what you need. If I have to format this, let's say make them H2s, I would select each of them and style them and format them. All right, so that's what basically you need to have to do to be able to create a template, and our page will look very consistent. With that, our pages look quite consistent. If you have to change this image, all you need to do is to delete that and go with your cursor in there, go and insert a new image. All right, I don't really have any extra images for this, so I'll undo and have it left down there. So that's what we would have to do, I'll probably go ahead and change these to H2s, but I'll not be sitting here finishing all of that. You probably meet me in another training, and hopefully I'll come with fixing and resolving this extra space problem. And we can do that in a template. Once we do that in a template, we all the pages that are created off this template would easily, when we make changes to the template, it will save all of these. We don't have to come to each and every one of them. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy this. See you later. Bye.